Hello and welcome to Simpli.fi TV, the web series and podcast for agencies, brands, marketers, and media buyers. I'm David McBee. Our guest today is Hernan Vazquez, CEO and founder of Scale Driven. Hernan is a digital marketing expert with 13 years in the field. He's successfully managed over $60 million in ad campaigns, turning that into over $200 million in revenue for his clients. He started Scale Driven, an agency that helps businesses grow by using the best new techniques in marketing and sales. Hernan has also taught over 10,000 students from the US to Brazil, sharing easy-to-use tips on marketing and ads that really work. Hernan, welcome to Simpli.fi TV.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. Super excited.
I'm super excited to have you. Hernan, one of our favorite topics here on Simpli.fi TV is connected TV advertising. And thanks to its low barrier to entry, advertisers who could never have afforded cable or TV in the past are diving into television advertising for the first time. So, what advice do you have for brands who are new to TV advertising?
That's a great question. And we were talking a little bit before you hit the record button how I worked with Simplifi several years ago, and one of the things that I really liked back in the day when we were working together was this fact that you could be everywhere, right? You could be everywhere at the same time. So you could show up to a potential lead or a potential customer on the internet or on their phone, and then all of a sudden they were seeing you on TV and whatnot. So it was super cool, especially because we used to work with a lot of local businesses, bootstrap businesses, small business owners, and they might not have the budget to go on TV, and spend a lot of money. Like the Super Bowl was like a week or two ago, and it was like $7 million for like a 30-second ad or something crazy like that, right? So it was $230,000 per second, right? To be there. But the good news is that you don't have to do that in order to right now to be advertising in places like connected TV and some other places that were only reserved for people that had deep pockets, right? So right now, I really love the fact that we use connected TV extensively for our clients, mostly because we put together these flows where the budget that we spend for our clients will be on online, platforms like places like Google search or places like Meta, right? On social media. We will also advertise on YouTube and whatnot. But you know how it is that most people will not transact business with you. They will not do business with you right away. They might need to see you a couple times and whatnot. And at that point, retargeting with connected TV, meaning, they visited your website today and then tomorrow or in a couple of hours, they're watching their series and whatnot, and they see your ad coming up. That can be really, really powerful in terms of how much top of mind you are, how much more additional goodwill you can add to your potential leads before they even transact with you. So it has a lot of power. That's why I really like that placement, that connected TV placement to add as part of our marketing mix, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Now, if you were talking to your fellow agency owning peers, what would you say to them about how you convince these digital marketers who are so in love with Meta and Google SEM to actually take the leap into CTV?
So I think it has to do with with tracking, right? Like we're so used to how do we track, right? Because on Meta or SEM and some other sources, you can actually track, a click, you can track a lead, you can track all of those things. Now, the main thing comes up when it comes to, okay, how do we actually are able to track the results and the ROI that we're getting from these platforms? And there's a couple of things that we've done. For example, with QR codes, we put together QR codes on the ads themselves with a specific link that allow us to see, okay, well, this person came when they were watching a connected TV ad. We're able to then blend in terms of the entire analytics of, okay, well, these people came from Google, but then based on their IP and based on their location and whatnot, we're able to see, okay, they came from Google, but they ended up transacting on a connected TV ad. So there's some options there that you can use to actually make that tracking possible and make sure that this is something else that is driving your ROI and the ROI that you're trying to generate for you, for your business, for your clients and whatnot.
I agree 100%. And one of the things we talk about here at Simplify a lot is this idea of last click attribution and how Google often gets all the credit for, all the things that actually fed into that. Our CRO, James Moore, often talks about how you'd never give the last person in a relay race the credit for winning the race just because they're at the finish line holding the baton, right? So I love that whole concept. But what makes a good CTV commercial? What is the creative element behind it? What is the content that's really, really effective in your experience?
Yeah, and I love that question because when we talk about TV ads, immediately we start thinking about, especially for small business owners, right, which is who we work with. They might not have a huge budget to come up with a big production and whatnot. So when it comes to that, something that we've been experimenting with a lot, um, especially when it comes to personal brands and authors and facilitators and experts and whatnot, that they're trying to go out there and give away their content, give away their expertise, and position themselves as authorities, which is, I would say, probably 60% of the people that we work with. We also work with some e-commerce brands and some software companies, but at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is to help the customer, right? That's kind of our main deal when it comes to creatives in general. Doesn't matter where we run these creatives. The main goal is to help the customer. So it's all about, if you come up from that perspective of trying to help the customer achieve the goal that they have, even if it's like with your e-com product or with your brand, it can position yourself as an authority. Not only it can help you stay at top of mind, but also I'm a big believer of adding goodwill to the marketplace, right? And if you think about it, there's a lot of brands out there that are putting out a lot of organic content, right? They upload videos to YouTube, they upload stuff to Instagram and whatnot, and that's all good. But when you advertise, your ads will get the lion's share of the eyeballs, generally speaking, that your business gets, right? You can get a couple 100,000 impressions on Meta or a couple 100,000 impressions on YouTube, which is hard to do organically. So wouldn't you want those ads, those video ads, to be helpful, right? Wouldn't you want those ads to be helpful for the audience? And that's kind of where we come from the perspective of production does not matter as much as the content and messaging that you have on the ad. And we give our clients, frameworks and methodologies on how to create these helpful ads. It's funny because we have some ads that are low quality, low production, quote unquote, compared to a traditional commercial, but they work really well. And people, when they're jumping on sales calls and when they're talking to their support team and whatnot, they say, "Oh, I remember the ad that I saw on TV. That's why I ended up transacted with you guys." So it's really, really powerful. Yes, for sure. So um, recently we started a campaign for a high ticket coach, a digital coach, right? He helps stay at home moms basically find online jobs so that they can help at home, right? So that's kind of the niche that we're after. And what we notice is that he's high production ads, like he would hire a videographer to follow him around. He would hire a video company to create really, really good ads and whatnot. And then what we came up with was a strategy of, why don't you record with your phone, right? Why don't you record with your phone, selfie style, and add value from the perspective of maybe 1 to 3 things that they can apply right now to actually get to their desired state. In this case would be to get a part-time job that allows them to stay at home with their kids, right? So we did that, and lo and behold, those ads that he recorded selfie style with, I think that we added some captions and whatnot. Of course we cut off the mistakes and whatnot. That was it, right? And those ads started outperforming his high production, quote unquote, ads, right? Because people felt more. I think that the theory is that the viewers of those ads started feeling more closer to that person, right? It was a more raw version of him when it comes to these ads. So then we started a connected TV campaign, mostly for retargeting purposes. Again, we're advertising on places like YouTube, Meta, and whatnot. We started that, and then he started thinking, well, I need to go back to these high production ads because this is going to be TV. And I'm like, why don't we try kind of a similar approach? And it ended up working extremely well. In fact, we have one ad that people are mentioning, and that is we're only running it on a connected TV retargeting campaign. Um, and people are mentioning it when they're talking to his sales team and to himself, right? It's like, this ad was so impactful. It helped me so much to go through some barriers, some fears that I had, that I ended up, deciding to book a call with you, deciding to work with you. So that is an example of, of how I would say small businesses can go out there and spend a little bit of money on connected TV without huge budgets for the advertising budget itself, but also without huge budgets for the production of the creative itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I heard a couple of things there. Number one is if the business is like a consultant of some kind, they can give away a little bit of their expertise right there in the commercial. I like that. I think that would be challenging for like a car dealership or a furniture store, obviously, but the other part of that I think is valuable for any local business owner, which is it doesn't have to be super high quality. It can be that authentic social media look, even if it's on a 70-inch, TV in someone's living room. And I love that. I mean, some of the biggest brands are using social media like clips in their big commercials. So I think we're okay with that at this point. We don't sit back and go, "Hey, that's not good enough for my big TV anymore," right? Is that kind of the two things that I should have taken away from what you said?
Yes, 100%. What's called user-generated content, right? Even e-commerce brand, they're hiring these influencers to, do unboxing and whatnot. And those are unboxing things are recorded with their phone, right? And they might have some captions and some things. Now, when it comes to local businesses, we made it work from the perspective of, if you have to choose between this car dealership and this other car dealership, right? Or this dentist versus this other dentist, this authority perspective, I'm going to help you out with actual content. It actually allows the business to position themselves as an authority before people actually land on their website or transact with them. So I think that you can find a way for you to be helpful to your audience. Like, for example, create an ad on how to pick the best Chevy truck, right? If you're a Chevy car dealership, or how to clean your teeth, before bed or something like that. Those things, I think they add a lot of value, and they also position yourself as an authority, and they're seeing you on TV, which adds to that effect, if you would. So
Yeah, yeah. All right, good stuff. I really enjoyed this very much. Before I let you go, I like to ask all of my guests if they have a favorite podcast or a book that they have uh, used to become successful.
yes. So when it comes to a book, I actually like two books. Can I recommend two books? Yeah, is that
No,
good?
only one.
Only
Only one.
one?
Yes.
Okay, only one.
No, no,
All right.
two is fine. Two is fine.
Okay, cool. So I'll replace the podcast with the book. So the book Influence by Robert Cialdini is a fantastic book. I think that if you want to learn how human beings operate, right, especially in this marketing space, Influence by Robert Cialdini is really good. And Atomic Habits, I think it's by James Clear. That's another fantastic book that has allowed me to put some really good habits to grow my business. So
We hear a lot of atomic habits here on Simplifi TV.
really good.
All right. So, what is the best way for viewers to learn more about you?
So scaledriven.com, that's our website. If you want to check out what we do. And then Hernan Vazquez in all socials. We have a YouTube channel. We also have a podcast called Marketing Atlas. But yeah, scaledriven.com or Hernan Vazquez in all socials.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much for being my guest today on Simplifi TV.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And thank you guys for watching. Simplifi TV is sponsored by Simplifi, helping to maximize relevance and multiply results with our industry-leading media buying and workflow solutions. For more information, visit Simpli.fi. Thanks for joining us today. I'm David McBee. Be awesome, and we'll see you next time.